Alright everyone, so welcome to part 2. So we are going to be using an F2P Miko with a Sucrose, Kokomi and obviously Yelan, and we're going to see how this team comp does compared to the team comp in the previous video. So this is part 2 of the Yelan sort of F2P team comps. You can see more or less the builds and stuff that I've got. Again, not optimal, but that's exactly what we want. We don't want something that is cracked. We want something that is relatively mediocre that a lot of people can sort of relate to. So, like we did in the previous video, let's get into a Spiral Abyss, and of course, here is the team that we had from last time. Do note, I'm not taking any health buff. There's going to be no benefit to any of the other teams, and right off the bat, you guys can see here on the first off, we are doing something completely different, and this is sort of to be expected. By doing it in this way, we can actually clear out this first mob almost like instantaneously, which is pretty awesome. Then we can rush over to the second mob. Again, this is one of those powerful things about Yelan. She can just rush over just that much more quickly than any of the other units in the game, and that's why she's so valuable. That hyper mobility of her is so cool. But yeah, here you can see little Klee terrorizing everyone. This might be the new Sukokumon, I'm just joking. But yeah, this is pretty fun. And what we're going to try and do with this team now is we're going to try and just slow down the pace a bit, because I want to make the video a bit comparable to what we had like in the previous video and so on. So we're just going to slightly just slow down. Let Ayato take the helm. There you go, Chloe. There's Ayato again. And this is just a bit of a little fun thing for you guys, but one of the cool things you can do with Klee and her enormous stagger power is you can actually lift these sort of Primordial Vishamps into Venti's Tornado, whereas otherwise you would not be able to do so. So look at that. The moment we knock him up, he's going to be in the air, and this is just incredibly fun to see. So this does show you that Venti Klee combo is fun. It's not the only character, but in any case. Alright, so whilst we're waiting just to sort of equalize the times between the different runs and so on, let's talk about Miko, Kokomi, Sucrose, and Yelan. The cool thing about this sort of team comp recommendation is that it's all about consistent damage over time, but also about giving you all of the flexibility that you need. So basically, Sucrose and Kokomi are more like anchor units. You're not really going to move with them. And then, of course, Miko is there to help you quickly reposition. And then, of course, Yelan is there to sort of just dish out a ton of damage, and as well, if needed, give you the hyper mobility to move. So it's quite a bit of a fun team. It's very offensive oriented, so you don't need to wait for Beidou's elemental burst to do any significant damage, and that's what I like about the Miko swap and this team. You've got that consistent damage from the get-go, and you can swirl it very quickly, run a bit of electro charge, and there's like so much optionality, and this is the one thing that I love about this team. And you might say, well, isn't Miko taking way too much field time? Well, not really. Think about it. Once you put Miko's turrets down, you've got a 12-second window that you can just do whatever you want, and that's more than enough to sort of quickly do everything that you need with Kokomi, quickly do a quick Yelan swap, and then back to Miko. It fits perfectly well within the rotation, as some people would like to sort of put it. And at this point, if I really wanted to right there at the end, I could have used Miko's burst, but obviously we're sort of saving it for the next floor and so on. But you can do it if you're quick enough. There's like so much that you can do, and yeah, that's just what I love about Miko. This is not like Beidou where you have to parry in order to get like the most damage. You have to do sort of like fancy sort of into jump cancels with Kokomi. Otherwise, Kokomi and Beidou are desynced. That's sort of one thing not a lot of people really know about. But with Miko, it just takes care of itself. It's just so good. Obviously, you can see my little bit of an improved run. I'd sort of bait the enemy, sort of apply the pyro, and then we're going to do this. And then as these sort of slimes try to hop on us, we can just animation cancel, and you can see Raiden and Shogun just putting them all in their place. Now look at this. This is way better than what you guys saw in the first half, and you can do this pretty consistently. So the thing is, we don't want to be too quick. I think we want to get about 8:30 on the clock here, so that the two times are comparable. I think in the last one it was 8:36, so we're going to try and do 8:30 just to sort of show you the differences. And also, for those of you that paid attention, we did not choose the health buff. So, and on that first video we essentially chose like a health buff. We chose again a health buff for Kokomi and Yelan, but in this sort of run, we're not using the sort of health buff. We are just going to show you what that raw team DPS is, like the added increase that you get from running Miko and Sucrose instead of Rosario and Beta, which can be really cool. And here's my little fun part, little Klee terrorizing this guy. So much fun. There you go, Chloe. I'm doing Ayato justice. You can actually dodge like fairly effectively with him and so on. Um, Just a little mention, Klee is so much fun, not just because she can stagger people, but if you pay close attention, she can have like a little bit of like a sparkling sign thing right there, and that allows you to do charge attacks without wasting stamina, and it just makes Klee so much fun to play. I know a lot of people say she's clunky, but I just find her to be an absolute little bundle of joy. Right, back to the team that we want to see. Yamiko, Sucrose, and Kokomi, and Yelan. So immediately right off the bat, we're going to go for a quick swirl. And whilst Magokinki is busy winding up, we're going to sort of overlap our burst times. Quick bit of Yelan tick. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the reason why you want to do the Yelan tick is so that you can get that increased damage that you would instead have lost from you switching to another character and using their elemental burst. So you can make up for that DPS loss on a very technical level. And yeah, here again, if we get hit by Magokenki, it doesn't matter. Kokomi literally just stands there and she's like, oh well, I don't care. If I dodge, it doesn't matter. If I don't dodge, it still doesn't matter. Like, Kokomi is like such a broken unit, but people just don't realize it. And there we go, Yelan swap, and we're going to quickly do the Yelan tick, and we're going to swap into Kokomi and just sort of smack this enemy right here. Again, once again, look at that Miko turrets in the background, still doing the damage. We don't need to worry about it. There we go. I'm just going to quickly, we're going to try and avoid the freeze, because that's going to be bad for Kokomi. And yeah. Let's just see, Sucrose, animation cancel of the elemental burst. We've got another little jellyfish, but hey, it doesn't matter. And this is the cool thing. Kokomi and Xingshu have like longer cooldowns on their E abilities, but Yelan does not have it. So I can trigger like the electro charge so much like faster than with what's its name Xingshu. And you can see again just that survivability from Kokomi. Unfortunately, Miko got hit, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, this is just I told you guys like in a previous video, I can dodge Mokukenki, so just using a bit of dodge tech to get Yamiko's health. But otherwise, a pretty simple, comfortable clear. And just like the previous team, I also ensured that Mokukenki would not just be facing the wall, but that he would sort of go away. Alright, so time to bully the Spiral Abyss a bit more. Here's a little Klee and Venti combo. So we're going to try and knock these guys up in the air. There you go, Chloe. Ayato for you. And this is the Sukokomon 2.0. Look at that, it's just like so much fun. Of course, we can't finish this off too quickly, so I just want to kill one of these guys and then just waste a bit of time so that we can have comparable times on the final floor. And as you saw, I didn't really pick any significant buffs. So here is a little Klee terrorizing the enemy. Do we have a little Venti online? There we go. I'm just going to sort of keep him up in the air. A lot of people don't really realize, but that Venti E can be used to extend the stagger time, which is so cool. And let's just wait for 9:15. Right, oops, we just slightly, I hope you guys will forgive me, just 1 second extra. But yeah, the previous team had it at about 9:20, so we're doing about 9:15. And let's see, are we going to finish this just in time, or will we have loads of time to spare? So here we go, we're going to do everything we want. Sort of overlap the enemy's sort of animation with our animation, and that's the best way to sort of avoid wasting time. And yeah, we were just sort of attacking with Kokomi and with Yelan primarily. And now we can sort of quickly do this, attack, and yeah, I don't know what I did. I completely misfingered when I did this, so that is just a very bad mistake on my side. But it does sort of show you that even now with Kokomi and Yelan being offline, Miko is still carrying on in the background, and this is the power of it. Miko is just doing what Miko does best. And even now, even assuming I did not have Kokomi's elemental burst or Yelan, I just set up a Miko whilst the enemy is being inactive. And there we go. We just have that increased DPS uptime. It is so good. Unfortunately, they did change Miko's targeting back to random. This is one of those cases where not having it be at random would have been so much helpful, but you can't just sort of win everything. Here's just my other complaint. I do wish they'd make these enemies like transparent so that you can run through them, because I have to run now around them, kind of annoying. But I'll just use that time to sort of use Miko. There is Yelan again. I saw I did not get the breakthrough bulb, so in any case we just sort of then cancel out, and yeah, we're sort of back at it. Miko once again, just sort of using Miko once the enemy can't be hit in that downtime, setting her up, and she just pays all the dividends. So now we've got Kokomi back, pretty awesome. I made a mistake here, I should have used Jellyfish Ventwheel, but hey, mistakes are made, you can't always play perfectly. Animation cancel or animation dodge with Sucrose, and there's Yelan again, and there we go, Kokomi, smack him really hard. And this should be almost game set match at 7:15. Even if the enemy goes up in the air, Kokomi Yelan can hit him from range, and easy dubs. So yeah guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this. So the entire purpose of this is to show you that assuming you are someone that's played for a long time, you have not bought into the, oh, I can only use Bennett, Kazuha, Shingshu, Xiangling, but you can see that there's like a different variety of teams to use. That's sort of what I wanted to sort of showcase to you. Yelan is such a fun character, and if you play her not like Shingshu, but like as you should play Yelan, as I've sort of demonstrated, she becomes really fun. And hopefully, if for those of you that have her, hopefully you can enjoy her at C0, as was the sort of showcase here. Ooh, look at the clouds. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers.